What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Young and Gifted here at DESU Radio, The Nest. I am your host, Zamara Coleman, and also the station manager. And today, I have a very special guest.
Yes.
Hey, girl.
Hey.
Hi, Joyce.
Hi.
Welcome. This is your first time here.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Yes, she really been trying to get here, y'all. And I love that because she is a very, very, very cool, creative, innovative woman. And we're going to get to know about her a little bit more today. So to get everybody kind of acquainted, can you give us your name, your major, your classification?
So my name is Joyce Kasiama. I'm a sophomore mass communications major with a concentration in convergence journalism. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. And yeah, it's pretty much about me.
Oh my gosh, she stroked my heart. Struck my heart because she said mass comm.
Yes.
And you know I love mass comm because that's why we're here. And she said Maryland.
Yes.
And she said Maryland, but I'm not going. We're gonna leave out the Baltimore part because
yeah,
I don't. It's not me.
it's okay.
But besides being from Maryland, you also are Miss Congo.
Yes.
So you are from. That's your whole ethnicity. You have anything else?
Yes. So I'm from Baltimore, but my parents are both from Congo, Congo Kinshasa. They immigrated here. My mom and my grandma immigrated here a while back, like obviously before I was born.
Right.
But they are originally from Congo, and I was raised in a Congolese household. I speak both the languages, eat the food. Like Congo is everything to me. Like it's a part of me.
So what was it like growing up with that type of household and being in Baltimore? Like, how could you explain that experience to me?
That experience was I learned so much because I'm learning about my culture, but then I'm also learning about American culture as well because I'm growing up in Baltimore. I'm learning like the Baltimore culture, the way the streets are, the school and everything. Like I'm learning English. At the same time, I'm learning French. I'm learning Lingala. I'm learning about a whole other
Are you
country.
trilingual?
I am trilingual.
Oh my God, fun fact.
Yes, I'm trilingual. I speak English, French, and Lingala. Wow. But it was kind of difficult for me because I had to differentiate what culture was which. I was learning, my first language wasn't even English.
Right.
My first language was French. And I learned English going to school, watching movies and TV shows because my whole household spoke, French and Lingala.
Wow.
So it would be instances where I go to school and I'm saying phrases in French and Lingala and expecting my classmates to know what I'm saying.
You was talking about.
Because I was just so young. Like that's literally prime of elementary school.
Okay. But you were unapologetically yourself. You never felt like you had to code switch or like you had like an American more side you had to act versus
I definitely feel the code switching because it's like growing up, I was bullied for being African. I went through the whole African booty scratcher phase, the why is your last name like that phase. I went through all of that. So in school, I had to feel like I had to show more of my American side. But at home, I could low-key be unapologetically myself. But now growing up, having more confidence and having pride in who I am, I'm always unapologetically myself now.
And that's a word because that's how it should be, okay?
Exactly.
No more of this colorism stuff, y'all. Y'all really make me upset, okay? Now, you said earlier before, like, being from the Congo is everything. Like, how would you, like, really describe that to you? Because, like, that had to motivate you in becoming, Miss Congo USA. So how would you kind of, say that?
So being from Congo is everything to me because not just about, how I grew up, but the culture is divine from the food to the languages to the music to the fashion. It's a whole era. And I feel like even from Congo's resources, like the farms that we have, like those minerals, they come from Congo. Congo is so rich, not only in its beauty, but in its resources. So that's why I take pride in it and everything.
So you feel like from being in your position as well, you're kind of able to raise awareness and things like that. Like what have kind of been your benefits as being Miss Congo?
Definitely raising awareness as we are going through a genocide. There's a lot of domestic violence that occurs again, the genocide, even health. I recently did a breast cancer awareness, a domestic violence awareness video, shedding light to it. Also, even yes, even thank you. Even within the youth, I do believe the youth are our future. And being Miss Congo USA, I ran on the platform of wanting to empower the youth through education, through motivation, self-empowerment, and things like that. So having the pride that I have in my country, knowing our struggles and our downfalls, has given me the confidence and the motivation to be in this position so I can shed light on those issues.
Yes. That's amazing. So beyond, what is kind of one thing about pageantry though, because it still is essentially that in order to win, is something that you feel like not everybody knows and it's just like so interesting or just surprising? Like,
that's a great question, as I am so new, like, to pageantry.
So you haven't done pageantry?
This was my first ever pageant.
Oh my, I did not know that.
Yes, like, that's why I really thank God, because it's like I went into this the youngest.
Yeah.
I went against 28, 25, and 23. And I started the process when I was 18, turned 19. Okay. But I was very young to everything. I would say one thing that a lot of people don't know in pageantry is that you need to, I feel like this sounds a little bit cliche, but you have to be motivated the entire time. Okay. I feel like that was my biggest thing for me, because there's so many ways you can get discouraged, whether you're the youngest person in the room, whether like somebody else's talent might not be your talent. Like, do not compare yourself. Like, I feel like that sounds really cliche, but I feel like that's the biggest advice I would let anybody know that's first starting off pageantry is do not look at anybody else. Do not look at any of the other like contestants.
Think of comparison.
Like, do not compare. Your age does not matter. Obviously, if you meet the age qualifications, then that's fine. But like, you can be the youngest and still be the loudest in the room. Like, you can walk in, like, every room you walk into, have your head held high, be motivated the entire time. A lot of things in pageantry can go left, can go right. There's a lot of quick changes that you have to adapt to, like, throughout the whole pageant week. Obviously, we were on the schedule and our itinerary, but things move very, very fast. So just keep up with the speed and stay motivated and do not compare at all.
That's really good advice. Yes. And I like how you mentioned about being like the youngest in the room. Alongside this, I know, you're on CAB,
yes,
and you're the youngest member on the board.
I am. I'm the baby of the board.
I know they play with you about that. I know that's one of the things y'all be talking about. So,
like all the time.
All the time? So then what kind of drove you to run even for that? Like, do you feel like you still had the same type of mindset, or was it something else that you were really trying to achieve?
So coming from obviously serving Miss Freshman and being on the Royal Court, I knew that my sophomore year, I just wanted to do something different. And when I figured out that the recording secretary position was available, I'm like, I'm going to go for it. And I went for the position, like, on CAB, not even really expecting to be the youngest person. I felt like at times my goals are so big that I just go for it without even thinking about it. So I went for it without even thinking about it. And then, like, when I figured out, like, wow, like, I was actually the youngest, it just gave me, like, more confidence, and it just made me know that I am where I need to be, and that, like, my age, like, doesn't matter, and, like, things like that, because a lot of times you can get discouraged for being the youngest, but you can bring something completely different to the table.
Yes, and you feel like you've been having some good ideas, some new things, you know what I'm saying, like, spicing it up.
No, yes, definitely contributing to the board and everything, so.
Awesome. Well, I'm happy that you're on the board.
Thank you.
So how do you kind of balance being a student and a leader?
Definitely having to put the student first before the leader. You are a student leader, but you are always a student first. Like, you need to make sure you are organizing. I tell everybody that know me, they know I keep my planner like this. Me and my planner are besties. Okay?
I feel you.
We are besties.
Yeah. So
I have to make sure I'm organized. I have to make sure I'm prioritizing not only my academics and my leadership positions, but myself, because I am Joyce before obviously everything else as well. So making sure I'm taking care of my mental health, and when I take care of my mental health, that helps me, that keeps me going, so I'm not burnt out, so I can be that student and then I can be that leader in the community.
So what are some things that you kind of do to ease yourself or that you just enjoy to kind of, just bring you back to being Joyce?
So I definitely have to say I love binge watching childhood TV shows.
Yeah, the oldies.
Yeah. Like, I'm a oldies fanatic. Like, I listen to music. I get my nails done. I Epsom salt.
Dr. T.
That one right there. Like, I obviously do all of that, but something that just makes me feel like, like young and just like myself, tapping back into the childhood TV shows. Like The Wizards of Waverly Place, Austin and Ally, Jesse. I can keep going on. Ant Farm, That's So Raven, Corey in the House. Y'all know about Corey in the House, though, but we don't got to talk about that. But
I love Corey in the House, actually.
That's just Disney. Like, for Nickelodeon, Victorious, Big Time Rush, like, the list goes on and on. But I love tapping into it because the soundtracks be A1, and then it just makes me laugh, like, in a kind of corny-ish way, but it's just like a memory of mine that's always unlocked every single time, and it brings me joy. So
nothing's better than nostalgia. That's why we keep having these nostalgic, yes. That's why we keep having these reruns and remakes of all these old TVs and movies. Child, look, I'm getting a little I'm getting a little sick and tired though, because I just feel like some things you can't beat the OG.
You can't beat it, and it was good then, so it needs to stay good for then. You can always rewatch it,
and that's okay.
And that is perfectly okay. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
So what would be your advice for someone who wants to step out of their kind of comfort zone, little box? They may be like, hey, I'm seeing, you was talking about comparison. They like, oh, I see her doing all this and I'm not even there yet. So how do I even get started?
You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You saying that reminds me when I ran for Miss Freshman. That was the first time I ran for anything in my life. I never had to go against anybody for anything. Wow. And freshman year, you already know it's like the first week of like elections, and it's like the first week of school at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
You don't know anybody at the same time, and you have to convince these people to vote for you that don't have a history of you, and you're being a college student at the same time. So you have to be that was the most uncomfortable thing I ever did, because again, I never ran for anything. So pushing yourself to your limit is gonna be your bestie for wanting to go out for like positions, because you have to push yourself physically, mentally, strengthen yourself, be uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, you gotta move. You in the wrong place.
You gotta move.
Yes.
Okay. So then for you to kind of like push yourself and stuff, you obviously had support. So who or what has been your biggest support, you feel like, through this whole process?
My biggest support, first off, I have to acknowledge God, because yes, Christianity. You see the hold on.
She got the Jesus piece.
Okay. Always on me.
As it should be.
God has been my anchor. I have another chain that has an anchor, because I have to remind myself that like I'm firmly rooted. My foundation is God, and He's always been with me every single step in the way. If God is for you, no one can stand against you.
Amen.
Literally. But I also want to acknowledge my grandmother, my mom. Like, they've been like my biggest support system. My friends from Baltimore, the Ghosts, like they're like my little my little clique type. Like they've been my rock since high school, so they've obviously supported me as well. But also like being in student leadership positions and like growing like that DSU family on campus, right. I have my support system as well through like other orgs and stuff like that I join here on campus. That's my community.
I was about to say, you got that DSU get wrong. You got some love for the...
Oh, no, we got love. We got honor and pride, okay? We do.
Yes. All right. And so my last question for you today is going to be, what is a future goal for yourself that you see both professionally and personally?
A future goal that I have for myself that I see professionally and personally. Mm-hmm. I would say a future goal for myself would definitely have to be becoming an anchor, graduating college after my 4 years and going into anchoring a show. I see that not just for myself professionally, but personally, because ever since I was 3 years old, I told myself, I want to be on TV. I want to be on TV. That was every time I turned on the TV, I would look back to whoever's in the room and say, I want to be on that screen. And I was determined, which is why I'm in college, which is why I'm doing this mass comm, which is why I'm determined to graduate and get that anchor role when I'm out here this 4 years. And the thing is that about it that's so significant for me is because when I was 3, growing up, I didn't see people that looked like me on TV. I didn't see that Black female anchor back then, you know what I'm saying? And it's like going into this role that's white dominated, male dominated, I wanted to break that barrier. So yes, this is a dream of mine that I want to do, and it's my dream job, but this is personal for me because I want to enter the room, and the next generation, the next little girls, I want it to be common seeing Black females and stuff on TV as well. So personal.
Well, I would definitely say you even just being here today already starts that chain, you know, us having, you know, this radio, HBCU ran, we got our Joyce here, we got us, like, you know, just look at the room already, like Black women in the room doing their thing, and that just warms my heart whenever I do this process. So I'm very grateful for you coming today. I think you really had some inspirational words. And I'm just gonna say, y'all, that y'all better keep watching out for Joyce Kasiama. And that's on what?
That's on period.
Yeah. We will see you for another episode soon. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, do you have any tags?
Tags like my Instagram?
Yeah, like.
Okay, make sure you're following Forever Joyce F0REVERJ 0YCE Forever Joyce. The O's are zeros. And also make sure you're following the Miss Congo USA on Instagram. The Miss Congo USA. Yes, thank you.
You heard that. Thank y'all. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Bye.